Hello, welcome to this week's video. This video is going to be shorter, probably as well as next week's, as I don't feel as if I'm going to be able to do as much. Even though it's summer, I'd like to, enjoy a bit of it before we get into a lot more coding every day. But for now, I'm going to try to stick with some more. I'm going to try to work on this a bit less for now, is what I'm saying. But anyway, let's get into what we're doing this week. What I made this week. Ugh, sorry. So, no new inclusions. And as before, we've done retrieve line from file, the length of file, get position of line from file. And now we have get longest length, which gets the longest length of a string in a file. So it checks every single line for the longest length, and it will store that length. And once it's checked every single line, it'll return that length. It won't return the position, but it'll return the length. If you want the position, you can use get position of line from file. However, if you're utilizing multiple lines, it is not going to work, unfortunately, as it will just return the first instance. You could possibly, I don't know, maybe tell it to ignore it. I'm not sure how you do that, but it's an option. It just stores an int, and it'll check to see if the length of that string is longer, and if so, it'll make that the new one. And then we have this other one called print multi-lines left to right, which does, actually, before I say that, I want to mention what I've been trying to do for the past couple days and why there's probably not as much this time. So I made a game logo, or a game name, you could say. Texto. Now you may ask, well, it should print out fine, right? No, not at all. And it's because of one character that has caused me so much pain, as well as Virtual Studio in general. And it's this one. It's called overline. You can print out underline perfectly fine. However, what overline is, it's not part of the standard character set. Instead, it is called Unicode, or something of the sort, which is not good, because instead of printing out overline, this is what it prints out. Yeah, it prints out whatever these are. And I've spent over 3 days just working on trying to fix that problem. Oh, I might be over exaggerating a bit. What I'm saying is I spent a lot of time on the internet and just trying to fix this in general. And the closest I ever got was a X followed by a question mark, because even with the proper identification, it cannot output what I'm looking for. I've even gone to such lengths as adding in new stuff to the source code. Is it the source code? No, to the properties of the C++ on Virtual Studio, and nope, nothing. Now, the only other idea I have left, actually 2 ideas. One would be to straight up go into a new coding studio. I'm not exactly sure what I do, or which one I go to, as I can't seem to find a different one that doesn't say, okay, pay this, or we will use your information. Blatantly. One of them did essentially say that. It was a community C++, but still, that is a bit extreme. Though it's also been a few months since that, so I can't exactly say for sure. I'm pretty sure it said something along those lines. And surprisingly, even their website didn't work properly because when I attempted to create an account, it couldn't pull out the proper security ticket. So even their sign-up page was broken, even though they are a C++. Yeah, I know it's HTML, but still, like, you'd think they'd have people who know how to do it. But anyway, what this does is it prints out each character of a file all in a row, one by one. It is somewhat slow, but that is something I can't really help. And every time it finishes the inner while loop, which prints out each line to a certain point, so like the first run, it'll print out the first character of every single line, one at a time under each other, and then it'll clear the screen and do it again. What? What happened? What? Wait, what? Oh, I just scrolled down. My bad. I was worried there for a moment. We'll go ahead and clear the screen after each one, and that results with, well, the fixed version of this, but it doesn't. It just prints out each character one by one. And I believe I have one more thing, technically two, but one more thing that I've done. And this is extremely useful as it allows for this to be a bit more functional. Originally, I was going to end up storing everything in a series of 7 to 8 to probably 20 files by the end of this. However, that doesn't work in a sense. It causes way too much confusion, and the fact that you're going to end up scrolling down for miles on end just to edit text did not help. So I figured out how to open up files. Not files. I learned how to store everything in folders and then have the game open up those folders and retrieve certain segments, and then swap it with the currently read ones. So I'm going to go ahead and show that off here. So as you can see, these are all the reader files. They do have the same names as the one in these files. However, they are going to be the ones that are read, and they'll be overridden every time I tell it to. So this is an example, exactly the same as the ones on the outside, except I have also added a file called doFileSwap. No standing for do not file swap, but if it gets to a certain line, it'll open up that file. Chapter 1, and then the two backslashes are the backslashes here. The reason why it's 2 is because when it's entered into a string, it gets reduced to 1. And if I just put in 1, it reduces to 0. And in that case, it just doesn't work. What I also have added is a delay between lines file, which, as it mentions, is a delay between lines. This is in seconds, and as you can tell, it is a bit on the high end. As before mentioned, this is just a prototype. I have not made a proper demo version. So these numbers were just numbers I put in based on the lines. But that would be the delay in between each line going off. So like once one line is finished, it will wait for, let's say, 5 seconds and then go to the next one. And what swap file does is it creates actually no, it doesn't create any file, but first it empties out the reader file of all its content, and then it opens up a new, one moment, then it opens up a new file, the one in the folder, and it will swap out the information. Or more in a correct sense, it will, how do you say it? It'll copy it over. I can't believe it took me that long to say that. And that's all it does. And then swap all file, just call swap file for every single file. So essentially swapping folders. I'm actually going to do this